As we begin our journey to become successful navigators of the stock market, the first and most important step we must accomplish is to become financially literate. Financial literacy is the ability of individuals to make appropriate decisions in managing their own personal finances. One component of this financial literacy is understanding how to manage your money, and more importantly, how to control your emotions when making decisions about your money. And this is so important as we look at how the stock market is acting right now in this period of uncertainty. Being able to keep your cool is one of the most valuable skills you can have as an investor. Becoming financially literate is absolutely key, and controlling your emotions will help smooth out this roller coaster ride that is the stock market. This cartoon is so interesting to me, and I've often shared stories about my parents, and I love them dearly, and more importantly, they love me, and they've always provided the best for me. I have great parents that um, went above and beyond their way to make sure my brother and my brother graduated from Penn State, I graduated from Pitt, went on to get my master's degree, and they really supported us through all of that. And the reason I share this little cartoon is because my dad worked for U.S. Steel, moved us from Chicago to Pittsburgh, and worked for U.S. Steel. And I remember all the stories he used to tell me about people during the, when people were getting cut. My point is this: he had a retirement package, and he came to my house one time. I was living in Leesburg, Virginia, and we were talking about the stock market. And I was trying to educate him a little bit about it, and right now, both he and my parents were more about letting someone else do. And he told me how, he had, I say still, and it was at like 150, and a broker finally sold it at $27. And at that time, this was about 2 years ago, and X was back up to 170. My point to him was, so while the stock went down $100, you didn't think to tell the broker sell it. So, we have to be able to make education decisions for ourselves based on rules, based on a trade plan. You guys know me. Eventually, we're going to get to trade plans, but someone else is making the decisions, and they have all their good intentions, and they mean well. But you need to be able to take this information from me, from brokers, from newsletters, from blogs, and digest that and be able to make your own decisions, because we're all just giving it to you, and you've got to be able to take it and personalize it and make it your own. What really put it all together for me on how to become financially literate was the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. As a young kid, I did it all. I was a paper boy. Those of us who are old enough to remember paper boys, I had a paper route. Um, I tried various businesses, websites, and I tried a lot of different things, and some successful, some not, producing and promoting step shows and all type of parties and things like that. But I wasn't able to really put it into words of what I was trying to do. And then someone shared with me the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, and I read the first book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it really put words to what I was trying to do. It was really made it simple and plain, and that's what I loved about the book. It wasn't this grand theories. It really just came down to understanding: are you financially literate, and what do you have to do to become financially literate and to become successful investing in yourself. I was really motivated after reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. I read the first one, Cashflow quadrants, into real estate investing, the tax book. Read all of them, and I was motivated, and so I started what was called this group called, it was a Yahoo group called the Metro DC Cashflow Group. And obviously, in the name, you can tell that we were up there in Northern Virginia, and there were people from Maryland, DC, Virginia, and we got well over 500 people at one point in time. And the group still acts today, although it's more real estate than it was before. But we got together on a weekly basis to play this game, Cashflow 101. And Cashflow 101 is basically Monopoly on steroids. It's the adult version of Monopoly. It's a great game to expose yourself to all these financial concepts about owning properties and owning stock and understanding how to manage a budget. It was really a great game, and I advise everyone to go check it out. you'll find a link on the blog, on the 30 Day Challenge blog, on how to access all these Rich Dad Poor Dad series. And again, it was my ding light switch moment, and hopefully it will be the same for you. At the core of the Rich Dad Poor Dad philosophy in his book is the understanding that there are different type of trainings that we receive throughout our lifetime. Obviously, first and foremost we have is the academic training. And this is basically our time in high school. There was a time in our country when a person went to high school, graduated from high school, found himself a nice factory job, some type of industrial job, and provided for his family for the rest of his life. We all know that those days have come and gone. The other type of training that we receive is professional. And so now we're in college and we're learning to be a doctor, we're learning to be a physicist, an engineer, a teacher. And we're learning that type of specific training to help us get a different type of job. But the type of training that typically is left out of both the academic and professional training is our financial training. When do we learn how to manage our checkbook? When do we learn how to prepare for retirement? When do we learn how to invest in ourselves so that we can retire young and rich? When do we receive that type of financial training? And that's why so many people, according to this Rich Dad Poor Dad philosophy, people work for other people and they work harder for other people than they do for themselves in investing in their future. F. Scott Fitzgerald once said that the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still be able to function. This is very applicable to the stock market. When you look at the conditions of the stock market right now, you can't trade it off of technical analysis or fundamental analysis either. The market right now is news driven. The market is reacting to what's going to happen with the bailout plan. The market is asking what's going on with the credit crunch. The market is reacting to the banks and the housing industry and the jobless claims. Are we going into a recession? It's not technically trading. It is news trading right now. And successful traders are ones that have the ability to have these multiple strategies, these multiple views of the market. I'm going to trade it technically now. I'm going to trade it fundamentally now. I'm going to trade it based on the news. I'm going to trade off the charts. What do the charts tell me? The successful traders are the ones who can have these multiple views of thought, sometimes opposing each other. But they're able to then trade whichever one comes out to be true from the charts and move on to the next strategy, move on to the next stock. They're not holding on to one strategy or the other. They can hold multiple strategies, multiple points of view, and pick the one that works once it reveals itself. I'm going to close by going back to the Cashflow 101 game. And what I'm showing you here is the basically the recording sheet. Can't speak enough of how awesome the game is. It does take a couple hours to play. But the whole philosophy, the whole key to the whole Rich Dad philosophy, it comes down to this. A lot of people think that to be successful in life, you have to make a lot of income. However, I believe to be successful in life, you have to have a lot of passive income. You need to let your money work for you and not you working hard for the money. And if you kind of look at this balance sheet, it's kind of hard to see. I understand that. But, you know, at the top you have your income. At the bottom you have your balance sheets, your stocks, your real estate. Right there in the middle where that gray box is, although that's your child dependence, but there's also a line that talks about your passive income. And when you can take your passive income and now have that exceed your expenses, you can now retire. When you're able to make enough passive money to pay off all your bills on a monthly basis, you can retire because you now have your passive income working for you. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. There's more coming. Again, the first step for us as we begin to learn how to trade is to become financially literate, to understand how to develop the right mindset, and that's where we're going to be going with the next video is the psychology of trading with Mark Douglas and developing the right mindset. Thanks guys, and I will see you next time.